My top 3 books of all time is being adapted. As you can tell, I'm not handling this news well. Everything has happened and everything has changed. Welcome to the latest video in my Book Buzz series, and this episode of Book Buzz, where I talk about positive bookish news in the community as well as horror films, is my favorite by far. And by favorite, I mean that I have never been so excited about so much news. We have some of my favorite books, my top 3 books of all time is being adapted. One of my favorite movies of all time is being remade. And I was so upset when I found out about it, I had to take a shower, and this is why my hair was wet. I thought I could literally wash the news off of my body, but some things you'll just never be clean from. The other videos in this series is going to be linked down below in a playlist, and let's get into it because I cannot wait to talk about the adaptation of Babel by R.F. Kuang. This news dropped 16 minutes ago, and I said, that's it. I've been collecting bookish news for a while, and I simply cannot avoid filming any longer. I have to film right now. Babel. Do y'all remember, have you been here long enough to remember me sobbing, hysterical damn near, over the ending of Babel? I have never cried so hard finishing a book. Not never. I have never been more destroyed by a dark academic book. That is how I bonded with my friend Dana. I have 4 editions of this book, I believe. It's everything to me. This news set me off. It set me off. I went on a long Instagram story rant. I made 2 reels because I just feel so sad that this current generation not only has to endure the hate of the entire nation, but also this is your crow? This is the crow that this generation gets? Haven't y'all suffered enough? God damn! Simply cannot accept that Bill Skarsgård is the Crow. What? The Crow is a film that came out in 1994 starring Brandon Lee, who was the son of Bruce Lee. And just like Bruce Lee, he died a young, untimely death. So The Crow, for those of you who are unfamiliar, is one of the most popular cult classic thriller romance movies of all time. And in it, the protagonist, Eric Draven, gets revenge against the criminals who raped and murdered his wife. There are some very important critiques that can be made about this film, but this film has literally saved lives. This is a film that I had on repeat as a kid. I cannot express how many times I've seen this movie, how many times I have cried over this movie, how seen this movie made me feel, how vindicated. I cannot express all of the ways that this movie shaped me as a kid. So the remake, I'm not one of those people that inherently is going to be mad that one of their favorite movies is remade. But this is the Crow that we're getting. And then they have the nerve to describe him as heavily tattooed. From where? Dollar Tree? How is it that we are going to film the rain scenes, which are some of the most infamous scenes in The Crow? And how is it that we're going to film these rain scenes if your tattoos are going to slide right off? What is with the nipple as an eye tattoo? What is with the mullet? Eric Draven would never. It's giving Dollar General Crow. It is giving Machine Gun Kelly and Jared Leto's Joker. I don't know what we're doing, but I'm already not on board with this. This all being said, Bill Skarsgård can act his ass off, and I have faith in his acting ability, but I do not stand by the presentation of The Crow at all. And the direction that the movie seems to be taken thus far is deeply concerning. So what I do find interesting is that they cast FKA Twigs as his wife. Now this is important because one of the biggest and most valid critiques of The Crow 1994 is that the death and murder of Eric Draven's wife was very, very racialized. So it looks like the director's response to that criticism was just to put a light-skinned black woman in that role. I don't know for a fact. I don't know how that's going to change the power dynamics. I don't know if they are going to include black men in the attackers of FKA Twigs' character. I'm excited to see how it's all played out, and by excited I mean filled with dread. The fact that they acquired the rights to The Crow in an 8-figure deal just blows my freaking mind. They have put so much money into a movie that was just fine. Part of the reason why The Crow is so sacred is because Brandon Lee died on set while filming the movie, and it came out posthumously. Not only did it release posthumously and everyone flocked to it because they wanted to support this film, but it was also hands down one of the best on-screen performances that any of us at the time had ever seen, and it still remains one of the most powerful pieces of acting that I personally have ever seen. People over on my Bookstagram wanted me to watch the trailer for The Crow before passing judgment. Brandon Lee actually died because there was a shard of a bullet from a previous shooting scene still in the chamber, and when he was shot with a blank, that shard ended up killing him. Such a horrible freak accident. I remember when I found out that he was dead in real life, I was devastated. I was a kid and I was so sad. Thanksgiving 1 dropped, but Thanksgiving 2 has already been announced and is in production. This comes from Eli Roth, who is the one who gave us Saw. It's about a serial killer who comes to a small Massachusetts town with the intention of creating a Thanksgiving carving board out of the town's inhabitants. I have not seen the first Thanksgiving. I'm planning on watching it within the next couple days. 22 hours ago, our very own Cindy fam announced her book, The Secret World of, and it's blanked out. So ever since Cindy has been on BookTube, we started BookTube together. Not literally together, but like in the same year. And ever since Cindy was on BookTube, she has been talking about this book. As long as Cindy has been on BookTube, I have been invested and interested in hearing more about her work, and the fact that she now has an agent is incredibly exciting. I could not possibly be more proud of her. She says that this story has lived in my mind for over a decade. The more I developed it, the more ambitious it became. I'm thrilled that someone as talented as Tao is working with me to bring this to life. I hope to share more announcements in the future. Everybody is so excited for this. There was the announcement for Saw 11. Why? In exciting bookish announcements, there's a book called Rental House coming out. I'm unsure how to pronounce this author's name, so let's check it out. Wong Wick. Wick Wong is how the internet says this author's name is pronounced. This is the award-winning author of Chemistry, who has blessed us with another novel filled with her trademark wit, unrivaled humor, and piercing familial observations. For a while, Kareem, the only child of strict, well-educated Chinese immigrant parents, and Nate, the son of a rural white working-class family, were settled into a comfortable marriage with their giant sheepdog Mantu. But when they start incorporating their families into 2 carefully planned vacations, the trip results are both disastrous and revealing. So this comes out on November 12th. Brittany S. Lewis has been killing us with these teases and the drops announcements about Blood Moon. Blood Moon is a fantasy romance series. It is a YA paranormal romance pitched as Legendborn meets New Moon. It follows an 18-year-old black girl who is mysteriously accepted into a university in a Midwestern town known for its legends and werewolves and vampires, only to find herself in the midst of an ancient magical war set against a high-stakes campus backdrop. It is set for publication of winter in 2025. What more do you need? What more do you want? She also teases that there are hybrids between vampires and werewolves, etc., which is very, very exciting and something that I personally have not seen played with. She says, I got the idea for Blood Moon around the end of 2022 and started a Pinterest board, which is great because the aesthetic is immaculate. I was also rewatching The Vampire Diaries and being upset with knowing how Bonnie's story ended up, and I had just finished the TV show Siren, but one of the main characters is a black woman. Story started to get watered down to nothing, and it pissed me off. I kept asking, why does this keep happening to us? I was brought back to reality. In the world that we lived in, there were other black authors out here doing the damn thing, and I was so wrapped up in the mid-2000s TV shows that I started to wonder why I hadn't told my own story that mixes these lores. January of last year, I wrote the plot for Blood Moon in a week. The following week, I'd already written the first 50 pages. I sent it over to my literary agent, and she sent a speedy response that included multiple exclamation marks and agreed, you need to write this story. I could not be more excited that Jordan Ifueko has a romantic fantasy book coming out from Hotkey Books. We're still waiting on that Ray Bear adaptation. It has been announced, but I'm excited for this new news. The synopsis says, in the magic soaked city of Oluwan, small Sare needs a job, preferably as a maid, with employers who don't mind her unique appearance and unlucky foot. But before she can be hired, she accidentally binds herself to a powerful being known only as the Crocodile, a god rumored to devour pretty girls. I love gods as characters. I love gods as presences in books, and I just Cannot wait. I think I've spoken about this in the past, but Sara El Arifi has Cleopatra coming out, and the reception of her new book, Feybound, has been amazing. I cannot wait to read both of these books. I'm so freaking excited. But potentially the most exciting announcement, okay, I'm being dramatic because these are all exciting, but George M. Johnson, who wrote We Are Not Broken, my second favorite memoir of all time next to Dear Sentran by Akweke Emesi, has a new book coming out, and it looks amazing. Flamboyance, the queer Harlem Renaissance I wish I'd known, and it is illustrated by Charlie Palmer. I cannot express how much I love and have always loved and will always love the Harlem Renaissance. And the relationship my family has historically to the Harlem Renaissance is part of why it remains so close to my heart. So to have George adding contributions, keeping the Harlem Renaissance alive, I just cannot wait, especially because the Harlem Renaissance was such a renaissance of queerness, and that often is swept under the rug. It was Black, queer creatives, a lot of whom were Black men, that really made the Harlem Renaissance what it was. This is available for pre-order, and it releases on September 24th of this year. I want to plug this book that I found out from my friend Megan, who operates Books and Blazers. It is titled Powerborn of Dreams, My Story is Palestine by Mohammed Sabaneh. It's written by a Palestinian man imprisoned in an Israeli prison about his fellow prisoners and fellow Palestinian stories. It's a graphic novel and potentially one of the best, most important books I've read so far this year. That sounds very accessible and incredible. A new book from Lamar Giles. Lamar Giles wrote The Getaway, one of my favorite books of last year. I can't wait for that adaptation. I can't wait. It is also one of my most favorite covers of all time. And now, so soon, we get another masterpiece. I'm excited. It's set on a road, that kind of thing. It applies for Camp Oregon, and it's tapping in already to the things that I like. So I intentionally did not look into what this is about because I wanted to find out on screen with you cuties. The Rune Road will be available for sale on September 17th of 2024. This novel is described as Friday Night Lights meets Stephen King's Needful Things. The book addresses topics of racism, prejudice, abuse of power, and what it means to be afraid. Follows the story of Cade Wilson, I love the name Cade, a boy who lives in two worlds, a star athlete at an elite school, but he lives in the wrong neighborhood and struggles to navigate the difficulties of existing in the world as a young Black man. But when a strange purchase from a pawn shop and a mistaken wish that people stop being so scared of him manifests in a strange, unexpected, and even dangerous way, he'll have to figure out how to stop the chaos he's created. There's a writing excerpt up on Paste magazine that you guys can check out. Oh my God, I cannot wait. Natalie C Parker, who is a homie. I actually am wearing a bracelet that Natalie C Parker gave me years ago at this Penguin Teen event. I just can't wait. This book is about fairies. It's called Fairies Never Lie, Tales to Revel In. The next young adult collection in the Untold Legends series, edited by Zoraida Cordova and Natalie C Parker, filled with 14 short stories to revel in that center fairies of varying genders and cultures. I can't wait. It's available on September 24th, 2024. That week in September, none of y'all better talk to me. None of y'all better look at me, because Lamar got a book out, Natalie and Zoraida got a book out on silent mode. She also announced that she has pitched a project that is John Wick meets the Babysitters Club, and that it's real. For anyone who's ever wanted a story about kids with superpowers on the run from deadly assassins while babysitting, The Assassin's Guide to Babysitting is for you. This is scheduled to be published in the spring of 2025. I didn't know that I needed this. I'm thinking of reading the Babysitters Club series because I've just been so loving mystery, cozy series, that kind of atmosphere. And this sounds absolutely perfect, especially because I am certain that series will not have aged well. Homegirl also has a book releasing titled Come Out on August 27th of this year. It is a spine-tingling YA horror about queer teens who accidentally invoke a twisted spirit who promises to help but delivers something sinister. Nkechi of City Girl Writer put The Fox Wife by Yang-Si Chu on my radar. I loved Yang-Si Chu's first book. I can't remember what it was. The Tiger something. The Night Tiger. The Tiger's it was so good. I would have loved to have seen this book be more popular, more read, more celebrated. And I'm hoping that she gets the recognition that she deserves with The Foxwife, because her writing is incredible. Her storytelling is unmatched. So years later, we're getting another book. We're following a character named Snow who's on a path to revenge, but processing the grief of losing her child. Since her POV is writing in a diary, she includes tidbits and explanations on fox spirits. Very, very exciting. Lots of mysterious creatures. Bao was an interesting character to follow. Bao has the ability to detect lies and truth, and Nkechi found that interesting and wanted to learn the truth behind such powers. Apparently this was a book of the month pick for this year, so it's already out. I cannot wait to read it. A lot of people were really excited when the National Book Foundation announced an expansion of the eligibility criteria for the National Book Awards for fiction, nonfiction, poetry, and young people's literature. In addition to authors who hold US citizenship, authors who maintain their primary long-term home in the US territories, or tribal lands, regardless of citizenship status, will now be eligible for consideration. The new criteria will sunset the petition process for non-US citizens instituted in 2018. Submissions for the 75th NB Awards will open on March 13th. People were really excited about this because of the gatekeeping and the exclusion of certain authors from obtaining awards. This is a topic that we have been speaking about a lot lately in the book community, as we turn attention on authors like Xiran J. Zhao, who have been strategically removed from the Hugo Awards for various racist reasons. I personally don't have much to add, but in the comment section, a lot of people are saying that they feel this is a step in the right direction. Laran Williams continues to blow my mind with all of these teasings and art from Blood at the Root. I follow him on Instagram. This is one of my top 3 most anticipated releases. I think it's probably my 2nd most anticipated release. I don't know, I don't care. I am thirsty, salivating for this book. And look at this gorgeous reveal for Malik and Alexis's character art that he did for Valentine's Day. It is stunning. He commissioned this reveal from an amazing artist, and I think that they did such a good job drawing of 2 black kids from falling in love and practicing their portal magic between classes. And apparently there is an Easter egg in this photo, so I'm very, very excited. I think that this is beautifully cozy, dark academic, witchy, black boy joy, black girl magic. I can't wait for this book. We need to talk about Aki Ami's music. Aki Ami has been dropping, releasing, making music since last year. In a post on Instagram, they say, "I was born in a Loma hospital in Umuahia. The church refused to baptize me with just the name Akweke because it was too much spirit. They said a Christian name was needed. We are from Umwechioku. My human grandfather died there in the Biafran genocide. At the bottom of the sloping cliffs, there is a spring. I have a new song out for you today. It is called The Thing You're Looking For Is Inside Me, and it is produced by Michael Brune. Their debut EP is called Stop Dying. You were very expensive. I cannot wait. The visuals, the way that they speak about their music, the music that I have already heard from them, I just cannot wait. RF Kwong says, I somehow have 2 new novels going and revisions for Karabasis, which I am prouder and prouder of each day, plus a secret project coming out in November that is Poppy War related, and we get more information about that soon. Also, I love the edition of Babel that she is holding in this photo. I want to know about the Poppy War news. What's going on with the Poppy War? What is it? A side character prequel? Are we potentially getting a prequel from Katai? Are we getting maybe a short story of what happens after the events of Burning God? What's going on? I need to know. Is Najah gonna be a part of it? Is Rin gonna be a part of it? Oh my god. Oh my god, and what if it focuses on the Trinity? I would do ungodly things to have more of a focus on the Trinity. Audio and Black made this awesome graphic of new releases that are blackety blackety black. Neighbors and Other Stories by Diane Oliver, that looked really interesting. The Blueprint by Ray Gianna Rashad, that looked interesting. Billy D. Williams came out with portraits of their life, and this I cannot wait to get my hands on. Dulce Sloan has Hello Friends releasing, stories of dating, destiny, and day jobs. Every Black Girl Dances by Candace Y. Johnson. I need that yesterday. And I'm really excited for Exception, an Enemies to Lovers romance. This is from a writer named B. Love, and the character, not the character, I'm sorry, the cover, stunning. Coming in March 2024, we have a book called Assist, and this is by Alexandria House. I cannot convey how excited I am about this book. The covers, everything. Alluring rappers at the top of her game, talented and adored by her fan, including the Center for the St. Louis Sires, but what she really desires most is a mutual connection, a friend. One random phone call links them in ways neither could have imagined, and maybe in the process they'll find true love. I think that sounds so good. Chucky returns to USA and Sci-Fi for season 3, part 2 in April. I have not been watching this series, but I would love to know in the comment section down below. Have y'all been watching? What do you think? Is it worth the watch? I'm so excited for Chucky v. Megan. That's all I care about right now. All right, that moment when you realize that you haven't taken your meds and you are lightheaded, but you can't take your meds until you eat, so now you have to eat. I didn't wrap this up the way that my parents should have wrapped it up, if you know what I'm saying. We have 12 more pieces of exciting bookish news to get through, and we're gonna power through it just the way I powered through my childhood trauma. Robin Wesley announces "And Dead Things Are Closer Than They Appear" is out today. After writing this for a decade, losing it when my laptop got stolen, quitting, writing it all over again, then getting hundreds, literally hundreds of rejections on it, I'm here now. I cannot wait to read this book. Even if I don't love the book, it's a book worth reading. I want to read the book that you bled to bring into this world. Robin's tenacity, I cannot imagine writing Robin Hood, losing my copies of Robin Hood and Suddenly in Love and rewrite. Oh my gosh, I would be heartbroken. Really, really want to read this book. Kid Cudi to star in animated dystopian horror movie Slime. Jerome Braxton will make his directorial debut on the dystopian feature, which was penned by Brian Ash. Eli Roth teases more Hostel and Cabin Fever sequels. Honestly, this is a sequel, remake, whatever that I would vibe with. It's the thing about Saw and Hostel, mind you, I love horror. I'm not a huge gore fan just because it just doesn't do anything for me, but I don't mind torture, I don't mind gore for the most part. The reason that Hostel and Saw worked so well was because they were just as psychological as they were horrific. And after that became more of a focus on the horror, the physical horror, than the psychological torment brought on by that horror. It became all about shock value, and it just doesn't work for me. In order for horror to work for me, I have to psychologically be scared. That's the only way that horror movies can get me. I have to believe in the fear on a psychological level. I wish I wasn't like that, but unfortunately I am. So, damn, Akasha said shut the fuck up. Blum House is going to be producing horror games. Now, I am not a gamer, but I would like to get into horror games. I would like to get a console and get back into playing Mario Kart and Crash Bandicoot. The Nosferatu remake is scheduled for release on Christmas 2024. I am so excited. I love this actor. I have never been disappointed by him, and this is a remake that, again, I think would be wonderful to watch. I would be more than happy to watch this remake, and I have faith in it. For example, he does not look like he got his vampire costume from the Dollar Tree. He doesn't look like he ordered tattoos from Shein and put them all over his body and said, hey, I'm Eric Draven. As you can tell, I'm not handling this news well. I'm not handling this news well. What is he gonna do? Be in the rain saying it can't rain all the time as his tattoos slide off his body? And then what is with the mullet? Because Eric Draven would never wear a mullet. Why does he have a mullet? And the thing, I shouldn't be talking about this online, like I should be talking about this in the privacy of my own home with my friends, but one thing that I'm stressed about thinking of is the politics of casting FKA twigs. I'm wondering if they were specifically seeking a very light-skinned black woman. Now, this is absolutely not FKA Twig's fault. She has done nothing wrong. I want to make that perfectly clear. She's beautiful, she's perfect for the role. I'm excited to see her in it. But I'm curious about the intent on the casting director, the producers' part in casting her specifically. Because if the intent was, well, we want to change the race so it doesn't look like we're just going on a rampage because a white woman was hurt. If we're trying to depart from that, the solution to it isn't, well, let's cast the epitome, the standard of black beauty, which is light skin, loose curly hair, etc. Let's cast the type of black woman whose innocence should be protected at all costs because she is light-skinned and because white people can see themselves in her. If they had cast a dark-skinned black woman, and if Eric Draven's mission was to tear apart the city to get justice for his dark-skinned black female partner, I think that that would be something that would make a lot of fans of the original Crow uncomfortable and angry. I think that it is something that would make a lot of racists uncomfortable and angry to see this young, attractive white boy going on a rampage to stand up for the humanity of the woman that he lost because she is darker than she's supposed to be. I don't know, but again, I think way too much. I get so in my head, and this is why I'm just throwing it out there. I'm saying this because I genuinely don't know what to think, and I would love your guys' input, unless it's gonna be the kind of input that's like, race doesn't matter, because okay, that's not an actual thought, that's a deflection, and not even a very good one. I need to stop talking about this remake. I need to stop making reels about it. I just can't. Judgment of the Dead will give the possession horror movie an Egyptian flavor. We're going to let go of the phrase Egyptian flavor? What spice aisle do I have to go down to find Egyptian flavor? Is it between Jungle Fever and Congo chili? That's where Egyptian flavor is, right in the middle? Right in the middle? Okay. We gonna let that go because that was weird. Egyptian flavor, not ass. Judgment of the Dead horror movie. This is exciting because I actually don't know about Judgment of the Dead and I am looking forward to finding out more. Possession horror is on trend this year and that looks to continue with Judgment of the Dead. THR reports that the upcoming horror movie will star Muhammad Kareem and give an Egyptian spin on the possession formula. So excited about that, but who is directing and who is writing this movie? The actor will play Dr. Sharif Hawass, a renowned Egyptologist who must save the world and the woman he loves after an artifact he unearths releases an ancient evil. Y'all know I love an ancient evil. I love an evil artifact. Okay, so Thomas M. Hewlett wrote the screenplay based on Kareem's original idea. I'm excited that they cast a star who is really big in the Middle East and has recently appeared in a bunch of action films in the US. So that's cool that he was famous outside of the US first. Just the same way that Shang-Chi brought Tony Leung into the consciousness of American cinematic fans. He is such a huge freaking star in China and has been for many, many years. Long story short, I'm excited. Chanel Miller has a new book coming in 2024 and it's a children's book. This is all I know about it at this time. I'm gonna Google later and I'm really, really excited about it. I still haven't read her memoir because I'm scared. Emily Cho's debut story collection Girlfriends is a messy modern feat of trans literature. Congratulations, Anna Sortino. Give Me a Sign is on the Oklahoma Libraries Association's 2025 High School Sequoia Master Lift. # Sequoia Book Award. This is a book that I simply cannot wait to read just based off of the cover. I'm so excited and I'm so proud of this author. The final piece of news that I want to give is that Andrea Posner Sanchez at Golden Books has acquired world rights to Newbery Award honoree Kyle Lukoff, My Little Golden Book About Pride, illustrated by Michelle Jing Chan, which invites readers to explore the history and traditions of Pride Day, how and why people celebrate, and the rights of all people to love whomever they choose and to be accepted just as they are. Publication is planned for spring 2025. So excited. What bookish news and horror spectrum news are you excited about? I would love to know in the comment section down below. Let me know if there's just some general news in the book community that you're really geeked for that you want to see me include in the next video in the series. I just kind of produce them sporadically. I would love to make them once every week or once every 2 weeks, but it all depends on how they do view-wise because these are some of the hardest videos to produce and edit. What I'm trying to say is if y'all really want to see this series be a regular on my channel, please support it when you see me put videos out because that makes the labor worth it and means I can keep filming. Another way to support me is joining my Patreon over at the dinner table, which is a Hannibal the Cannibal themed. We do fun stuff. We do cocktails and cookies where we make drinks and bake cookies, book and cook where we cook a recipe while reading a book on sprints, watch-alongs, writing excerpts from my 2 upcoming novels, Suddenly in Love and Robin Hood. It's a fun time, but you can stalk me on my social media as well. All right, cuties, stay safe, be good to yourselves, be good to others. Brandon Lee is the only real crow, and I'll see you in my next one.